My name is NAVIN GUPTA. I work for Ripple. I head South Asia and Middle East for them. And I think we are going to do something different because all the presentations before me, people had great ideas. They wanted to explain their ideas to you, and they were looking for your money or they were looking for adoption. We are in the reverse situation. We are a company which already processes billions of dollars in transaction throughput. And it's at scale. It's already working. And a lot of banks, you are adopters of Ripple. Both are traditional solution that works with banks, and of course, our digital asset, which is essentially XRP. So, but at the same time, a lot of time, Ripple is misunderstood. And what I wanted to do is, instead of me doing the talking, I have Rahul with me. Rahul, you want to introduce yourself and talk about who you are and your company?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rahul Pai. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of UAE Exchange. So we are exactly opposite of Ripple. We are a consumer company. So UAE Exchange is part of a larger group or a network of brands, which includes some of the renowned brands like Travelex, Express Money, Remit to India, and off late we've also floated another brand called Ditto, which is a digital bank in France. So we, as a group, we are into three major businesses. We're into money transfer, foreign currency exchange, and payment solutions. So there lies the clue of what we are actually doing with Ripple. As a standalone entity, UAE Exchange is present in 27 markets, and we move close to $30 billion of money transfers across the world, which makes us the second largest money transferer in the world. And because we are into the money transfer business, and this is a space that is constantly evolving, we've been spending quite a bit of time trying to research on newer technologies. And one of the things, obvious things that we would research on, like is the case with most of the financial service companies, is on blockchain. Now, if you look at it, the money transfer industry works on three simple things. We need to get three things right if we have to make our presence in the money transfer world. You need to know how to transmit money or how to transmit messages. That's the underlying thing. Second, you need to know the art of settlement. And the third thing is you need to know how to reconcile what you have sent. So if you get these three things right, and if you're able to do this in a secured manner, your majority, 90% of your job is done. Then the rest, we would leave it to the marketeers to get the product or brand to the customers. Now, if you look at it, this is what has been done traditionally as well. And we've had lots of problems, be it on the idea of transmission or settlement or reconciliation. And if there is one technology that can solve all the three, our house view is that it is blockchain. Blockchain will be able to solve all these things in one shot. And if there is one company that, so we've done quite a bit of research, quite a bit of experiments on the blockchain space. We've tried to invest in certain companies to understand more about it, or we've tried to go and partner with one or two banks to on our own to look at seeing how can we use blockchain for transmissions. But if there is something, if there is a organization that can actually help us on all the three elements, that is transmission, settlement, and reconciliation, and that too in an effective manner, we found that Ripple could do that in all the three things. So which is why we've partnered with Ripple to actually explore more and try to see if we can bring blockchain into our mainstream business. So this is how we go about. So the only thing is, so we are in the process of going live on the Ripple platform. With us going live, there are two things that we will solve out of the three. We will get our transmission right. We'll get it instantly to all the banks that are on the Ripple network. Number two, we will also get our reconciliation right because the reconciliation of transactions are instant on the Ripple net, unlike what happens in the SWIFT or the other transmission world. The third thing, which is settlement, Ripple has the capability, but unfortunately, because of regulatory restrictions, we are not venturing it into at this point of time. So this is how we look at it. So we truly, as an organization, we truly believe that blockchain has the ability to change the way institutions like us would work, not only on the operational aspects, but also on the security aspect. And we believe the long-term view is that it would bring down the cost of doing operations. Though it might be slightly expensive to start with, but if we take a long-term view, the opinion is that it would bring down the cost. So that's it from my side.
Yeah. So, and as a customer-focused company, we are nothing without our customers. We exist because our customers exist, and this is great for us to have a validation from somebody like UAEX, who's a predominant a player in the world, in fact, the second largest, to be a user of Ripple. So let me just explain to you how Ripple works, right? So this is the Ripple software, which is called Xcurrent, which is a product that we essentially work with banks and exchange houses on. It has got two main layers. So the first layer is just the messaging layer, in which even before a debit happens on a bank account, that means debit with, to any of your bank accounts, there is a message that goes out to the beneficiary banks, which asks, is the account name correct? Is the account number correct, right? Do you need anything else to complete this transaction? That means, can you complete the AML checks? And if required, if the beneficiary bank is providing the FX rate, it will ask, what is the FX rate for this transaction? And lastly, to credit that account, would you request for any money to be paid out? That means, do you need $5, $1 to credit the account of the beneficiary? Now we have complete information. The transaction is authenticated. Everything is there. A says we are good to go. B says we are good to go. This information can be reflected to the remitter. Remitter is able to see that the account number, account name of the beneficiary is correct. He's able to see the FX rate. And he's able to see the exact amount in local currency that will be credited to the beneficiary account. He says, good, presses enter, settlement happens instantly, which is the second layer. There is a debit to the account, and then there is a credit to the account. If for some reason credit fails, debit will also fail. Both the ledgers will 100% be in sync. And this is true about when there are two banks in the network. Even if there were 100 banks in the network, exactly the same thing would happen. If the 47th bank would fail for any reason, the whole transaction would fail, and so that nobody's out of the money, and there is equal number of debits and credits on both the sides. And that's the art of the DLT technology. And in some way, what we have done is we have taken the parts of the DLT technology that is workable for this banking ecosystem so that we are able to bring this solution to you. Otherwise, we can keep talking about it, but unless it makes an impact to your life, you were sending money, it was taking 2 days to reach, and now it reaches in 8 seconds, and you go, wow, this is great. We have not made blockchain real for you. I mean, we are just theorists who are talking about it. But we, working with the UAE Exchange, are able to bring that value to you, which you are able to experience, and then essentially says, yeah, you know what? Blockchain works for me, Ripple works for me, UAEX works for me, because otherwise it's just a theoretical concept. And hence, it has been our endeavor to essentially bring our technology to more and more banks, more and more PSPs, more and more exchanges, so that they in turn can touch your lives. They in turn can use their distribution capability to offer these solutions over to you. And that's what we have been doing. And all the network that you see in Ripple announcements, that's what we have been doing. We have been building the Ripple network so that your lives can be touched in a meaningful way. Right? So that's one. A lot of time it gets misunderstood. So how does XRP gets used? Right? Let's assume in UAE, in a regulatory environment, Rahul was allowed to use XRP. Then, like he rightly said, he can solve the third problem as well. Because what Rahul or UAEX needs to do, they park a huge amount of pre-funded liquidity in banks around the world, which is essentially trapped. And if you look at the amount, this is in tune of something like $23 trillion that the banks have parked with each other, which is essentially stuck there for these payment systems to move. What we are able to do with XRP is we are able to do this liquidity on demand. So in that case, what will happen is you will give your AED to UAEX. UAEX will look at the total funding position that's required to process hundreds of these transactions, say, for example, from this room. And instead of maintaining a pre-funded balance, it will send XRP to the beneficiary country or beneficiary bank. And XRP gets converted into local currency, and the payout essentially happens. And the whole transactions takes few seconds. But the great thing is that Rahul, instead of keeping millions of dollars in the pre-funded accounts, he keeps zero. He funds on demand, and he's able to move money around as and when he would want it. And that's a freedom that it essentially brings. So we want to be the bridge currency between UAEX's usage and the payout that happens by another institution, say, for example, in a country like India or UK or any other jurisdiction it would be. So I just wanted to make sure that this is understood. So we are also still able to solve the problem through our information highway that we are building, but with XRP being there, you're able to drive Lamborghini on the top of it. Yeah, I think that would be accurate. Like you will have a lot of money stuck in the accounts around the world.
For that.
So that's what we do. In a nutshell, that's what we wanted to explain. We didn't want to give a big lecture. We were thinking because it's a fireside chat, we're happy to take some questions if you have. I don't know if that's allowed. If that's not allowed, we can rattle along for some more time. Right. Yeah, please. I think you'll need a mic. No? You can shout it out. You want to shout it out? I'll repeat the question.
The question is, you described Rahul's use case for UAE exchange.
True.
But then all the other banks that are doing this XRP transaction, they have to participate as well. They have to agree, and some of them will, and others perhaps may not, or may in the future. So could you just explain how that really, the ecosystem evolves to really make it happen? The technology I get, and thank you for that. But
absolutely. So let me explain to you. The first thing it works in that jurisdiction. So let's assume money is being sent from UAE to India, just hypothetically as an example. In both these, there should be a regulatory environment that's enabling that, because it can't be done without it, right? That means there should be cryptocurrency exchanges that's legalized by the government, for example, right? So then in this case, what would happen is UAEX, where cryptocurrency is legal, what Rahul would do is take AED from you, send XRP to India, and the exchange will do the payout, or another PSP in India will do a payout because the market already exists. They will convert XRP into Indian rupees and make the payout happen.
Yeah,
right?
Let me just add to that. Now, this is the same question we asked ourselves when we wanted to tie up or join Ripple. So the thing was that Ripple was very clear that it's the technology, and there are partner banks or member institutions coming in. So the question was that what if banks do not want to partner with us? What would happen? You know, that the answer to that is only time will tell. But when we started actually, developing or integrating with the technology, we already have 5 banks on the net who are RippleNet who are already ready to partner with us and start working with us on this platform. So it's about what value the platform adds, and that's the pull for the banks. So.
Anybody else wants to ask anything?
Got time for one more?
Yeah. Thank God nobody asked me what will be the XRP price tomorrow. That's good. I was anticipating that. Yeah. Nobody wants to know. That's good.
I think there is somebody there and somebody here.
Yeah. Could you come in the front or just by the sidelines if you could ask, and I'll repeat the question.
Hi. Can you comment on the cryptocurrencies volatility these days? Because you've got it on markets, you've got it on exchanges. On one side, you're a platform that's being used by all of the banks. But if the regulatory is going to take a longer time, what do you anticipate is happening on the currency side? Yeah. Thanks.
So first of all, I would say, as our CEO has said many times, we don't care about volatility on a day-to-day basis, right? So, I mean, these markets are in early stages of development. Primarily, they're being driven by retail investors, and now the institutional investors are coming in. Slowly, what we're seeing is happening, and it's not slow, it's actually very fast, that the markets are deepening, the liquidity is deepening, there are a number of instruments that are being put in place, derivatives, future, and as you would see, you would find that the volatility will start to go down. I mean, we are talking about maybe 5, 8 years in terms of the whole market getting developed. Capital markets take much, much longer time. And this market, of course, will develop much more quickly, but the liquidity needs to deepen, a lot of instruments need to be traded, and once it is, the volatility will come down automatically, right? And then the questions around stability, the question around being usage around the banks will automatically go away. So think about it, if banks were to come on the platform, automatically the markets need to be deeper, and they would also contribute to that deepening of the market itself. Okay. Cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for your time.